Ladies and gentlemen, women, children, everyone around the world, it is time to talk Point of Sale Uncensored. We're going to have a quiet, little sensible time where we talk about how in the world can you beat toast when you're out in the world. And I am not going to do it myself. I'm going to bring the man, the myth, the legend, the person on the right-hand side of the screen, Mr. Matt Proctor. And I want you to know, Matt, I had no idea how I was opening that, and I did it all just on the fly. Mr. Matt Proctor, how are you, sir? How is life
beautiful
in Indianapolis
We're
for
gonna
you?
butter that toast up, get some jam on it, screw up everything.
Yes, absolutely. Make it sticky. Just leave some extra sticky, crunchy peanut butter that just annoys everyone and makes it, a miserable experience for their toast. But I'm going to start with this question, totally unrelated, because I'm going to use this clip later. So, Mr. Matt Proctor, the last time we were in person together was at the PayProtect PPT Goes West party. I'm going to put something and ask you a question here. Why do you believe PayProtect parties are the best parties in the industry as we get better and better at throwing at it? And why was that the best one yet? And why PayProtect partners should make sure they come to the next one we throw when it comes to 2024?
The venue was just genius. I mean, you guys always do a great job of the venue. Our whole PayProtect family does. But I mean, having the event where we had it and in that gorgeous mansion, the catering company is phenomenal. The drinks were great. The different stations. There's room for everyone. That's a key. You don't want to be. I've been to so many events where you're packed in this tiny little space and you can't get by anyone. We had tons of room that you could talk with this group and then move over and talk to another group, and there's live entertainment. That's always a big thing. A lot of events don't do that, but with PayProtect, that's a big thing for us. And then, just being able to have that space is one thing that Nate, you and your team do a phenomenal job always. And that's why we keep growing. Let's get more of you to these events each year. I'm sure this next year, the SCAA will probably do something, the WSA, maybe in Chicago. If you guys hear of any of these events, please, it is worthwhile to make the trip. I personally make sure I get as many of our point of sale providers there. I'm not just talking the person who might do your demo. I'm talking the owner of the company, because I want you guys to meet the owner of Paradise and Retail Cloud and Hot Sauce and Mint, Quick POS. As many as I can get there, I get all the parties. We want it centered, around that point of sale as well as our other partnerships, the Charge Zooms and Roll and Pay, whoever it might be. It's just so exciting to have all of them together, and it's really a must attend event if you see any of those coming up. So let Nate bug you with all the texts and emails and everything because they're great reminders.
We had a fun time. It was an awesome party, and we will have at least 3, maybe 4 parties next year. We're meeting actually here in a couple of weeks to do our final planning for that. A lot of times it's around the acquiring shows, but I think we're gonna have a couple that may not be. If you want us to come to your area where you think there's 30 to 50 of our partners that are in that area that would be able to come, hey, email me. We'll pitch for that and we'll champion for it. But today,
well, hold on, Nate. Can I throw out a teaser right now because I know we're going to talk about this as it gets closer. If anyone who's watching this has not been to the National Restaurant Association event, keep that in the back of your mind. It is worth going. We're going to talk about as it gets closer about if we're going to do something there, if we're going to have some partners there. But even if we don't do an event, I'm going to go to it. I hope Nate will go as well. Plan out to get to Chicago. If you're close, grab a hotel room. It is worthwhile. It's the biggest show of the year, and you'll really be able to keep up to speed with what they're doing now in technology and these kiosks. I mean, and how they're promoting everything as well as the crazy food and drinks and anything you can imagine. So it's a little teaser. NRA, it's not the gun show, the National Restaurant Association. And I do have to shout out to my girl Jessica. She won for the best beer cheese in the entire country. So she's the executive chef at Nate, what's that restaurant?
Ford's Garage.
Ford's Garage. Executive chef Ford's Garage. They've got 30-something locations now. And I finally got a chance to reconnect with her, and that was great that she won that the best beer cheese in the country award.
It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait. We will absolutely. That'll be part. I'm not sure if we're going to do a big party there. I think what we talked about last year and what I'm going to pitch when we were putting our finer pieces, we're going to do like a training mixed with a walkthrough through National Restaurant Association, specifically kind of like a POS Uncensored live where we're talking around how to do some POS things, and then we'll go through. But no, it's going to be somewhere between May 18th and 21st. We'll be putting that together here in the next probably 2 months, and it's always in beautiful Chicago. And Chicago is gorgeous that time of year.
Is that when it is? It's in May? I thought it was. Yep. I thought it was like July last year.
Nope, no? It was in May. It was in May. The week before last year was. Well, I'm assuming this is the week before Memorial Day too. I haven't even looked at the calendar, but it's the week before Memorial Day.
That's right. Yes, it was May because I missed my buddy's wedding. Sorry, man. I got a work thing to go to. I'd rather go to Chicago.
All right, back to on our subject today.
Okay. Sorry.
I just was in California, Matt. You were in California. I spent nearly a week there between meeting with partners and taking 2 days off and kind of enjoying California for a little bit. And it was a wonderful time. And but I continue to see something that I see everywhere. And it was even more true in some of the areas. I was in San Diego and North San Diego County area of Southern California. And every place I went, I saw toast. Where, I was thinking you and we watched Thursday night football together at a beautiful Cardiff Beach bar. What were they using? Toast, with the toast handhelds. Let's start with the positive and us being positive and giving credit to what is due. What does toast do well, and why has it become so ubiquitous especially in the restaurant space in the last 5 to 7 years?
Yeah. And for any of you who've seen toast or heard about it, it is a phenomenal software. You'll never hear me talk bad about any point of sale company. Okay, they're all good in their own way. It's just a matter of what they can do and can't do. Okay, so it is what it is. Toast just does restaurants extremely well. They built that software specifically for food and beverage, and they're ahead of the game on a lot of that stuff. And with the third-party integrations and the online order and the handhelds and having all of that already built in. While other POS companies have been struggling, or they don't have handhelds, they're trying to scramble to add them. They don't do QR codes, but they're scrambling to add it. So that right away got toast in the door to so many places. And on top of that, it's hard to compete sometimes with a company that hires so many different reseller offices. So they have a local toast person that's coming there on site that really you're having to compete against. So, those are the positives. That's why it can be challenging going against toast. But obviously today we're going to talk about all the different ways that you can replace toast. We've been replacing toast for years now. People don't think we can, but no, that's not true at all. Now we might have, I told Nate earlier, I was like, it takes a village sometimes. There's a reason why I'm going to these shows and getting new hard softwares. And we have so many food and beverage options because they all fit a certain need. Okay, a certain niche they fit into, where toast, they just try to put it everywhere. And it's not always the good fit. for some of these restaurants, and their support's not that good. And so we still hear those complaints. And just last week we closed one where the guy said he's throwing toast to the curb, like he's so tired of it. And we were right there to be able to offer him multiple solutions. We found the right one, we demoed it, and he's like, done. I love it. Much better. So don't be scared or intimidated just because they have toast.
So let's talk. There are two different ways we can look at this. One, when you're competing, when a restaurant is making a decision and you're competing head to head with toast. And then we'll look at it a second way when you're replacing toast. So let's start when you're part of the conversation. The restaurant is already looking for a point of sale solution. Maybe they're in their new restaurant or they're looking to make a transition and you're competing against toast. What are some of the things that you want our partners to know when competing against toast, that things that we're really competitive at and that we can do really well with the plethora of systems that the POS Pros offers?
Yeah, great question. Well, first off, sell yourself. I mean, you're going to give them better service than they're going to get from some rep at Toast. He's just off to the next person the next day. You're going to give them much more support. You also have an entire point of sale division, a whole office of POS professionals that are also there to help them on top of whatever point of sale. So we surround this merchant, your merchant, with so much support, it's ridiculous. And there's always someone to call. We also control the pricing, and we don't jack up their pricing like Toast does. We don't force them into certain contracts and they're going to raise it. Okay. Feel free to discuss that with them. Okay. Don't be scared to talk about money or about pricing or about how they're going to be. Yes, the rates might seem okay right now with Toast, but guess what? It's clearly in their contract, especially if they have a copy of that contract. It says how they can change it and adjust their rates at any time. And they do yearly. And so fight that with them, go through that with them. Like, look, I'm going to show you a software that can do everything you need, just like the Toast that you're looking at too. But you're going to get that support from me. You're going to get that secure, locked in rates. You're going to be able to do true dual pricing, save all that money. Okay? So, you're selling yourself this entire time because they're purchasing you along with whatever just software you have that's going to replace anything that they would even need Toast for. Okay, but in the end of the day, you're the one's going to keep going in there. You're the one's going to be frequenting there and having drinks and food and whatever. And so make sure you sell yourself first and don't harp so much on the point of sale. Okay, as you're doing this, you're asking question after question after question. What do you need it to do? Okay, what's your wish list? And you're kind of making notes. You get our team involved because that's what my team does. That's what we do every day. Is these consultations. So you don't have to remember the 30 questions that my team might ask. But we're going to pick it down to the smallest little piece. You want online ordering. You want third-party deliveries. Do you want QR codes? What about a kiosk? Or instead of a kiosk, why don't we post some QR codes? Okay, order pay at the table. All these things, you're getting their mind going. And they're thinking, how are we going to help you grow your business? You're about to open in a month. How are we going to take you from 50 grand that first month to 250 in the first 6 months? A point of sale can help do that. Okay, so if you talk with a good POS education, even if it's limited, and you ask those questions, they will open up to you like a flower. Boop, and they're going to tell you every little thing they want and need. And then we're going to find out more when they're on a demo with us. So does that help?
That's a great start. Now let's talk about this positioning. You said focus on yourself, but also positioning who you are. You are selling as an independent sales rep of multiple different point of sale systems and probably multiple processors. We know that's where you are, that you are in essence a broker and a teammate, and helping them recognize that there are two things that Toast does. They represent all those things. You're a linchpin that represents both. When Toast wants to raise their rates on their monthly fee and raise their rates on their processing fees, it all goes to Toast. When that happens, we're separating church and state and making it better for you as the partner and better for your merchants. And I think that's a great way to sell themselves. But I think it also, somebody would come back and say, well, the Toast, they're really good at restaurants. You're just kind of you have 15 different point of sale systems. I want to go someone who just focuses on restaurant. I think we have a great answer. I guess you are going to have that. How do you defend that when they look back and say, well, Toast told me they only do restaurants. That's why they're really good at restaurants. I know you do, you're serving the, toy store across the street. How can I trust you in the restaurant world? What would be your answer, Matt Proctor?
First, I kind of chuckle. I just laugh. Like, really, we have more systems in restaurant than we'll ever have in retail because that's our baby. I bet. I mean, bottom line is that is our baby. The director of the POS department spent 20 years managing and running restaurants and fine dining. I know everything there is to know about it. So that is our focus, is on the restaurant side, and that's why we have 6 different softwares. 6, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we used to have 2 or 3. We have 6 F&B softwares to cover anything they might need. But then guess what? We're so good at what we do. We also have retail for the toy shop across the street, and we got a salon software for the salon, and customize things like that. So that's whenever a merchant, and I've had that question come up, Nate, where they're like, well, I know you do restaurants, but I've got a liquor store. I mean, can you really even do anything with that? And then, then I go into what we really do. Think of it as you're an independent sales agent, okay, your ISO, whatever it is, but you have an entire point of sale division that almost like brokers, these different point of sale systems, so that we have all these amazing options. Okay, I don't want to go to the bank because they're going to give me one option and they're going to force me to use a Clover. If I go to Toast, I don't have any option at all. I love how you said separate church and state. That was good. And it's given them the options for their business. And I don't run into many merchants at all that don't like options. They don't want to be forced into one thing.
What percentage of our, and maybe not percentage, but how often does it happen that a merchant chooses to use one point of sale and moves to another point of sale that we are reselling for within the POS Pros because of change of how they do business or something? How often does that happen, and how is that a feature?
It's huge. Yeah. So, and this, I'm glad you brought that up, Nate. This is very important for anyone who's listening to this. Because of our multiple solutions, we can keep your merchants longer and longer and longer and longer. All right. I would say, Nate, as of right now, I'm up to about 1 a month. And that's a lot more. It used to be. It used to be once every, 3-4 months, maybe once a year. But now, once a month. And I count those as a full-blown recovery. Sometimes they're not happy with one of our systems. Maybe they're not happy with the support. Okay, perfect. Look, we've got another solution. We're all about making you happy. Okay, if I need to cancel, a cancellation fee to do a full recovery, get them some hardware and a new software, absolutely will do it. Sometimes they're not upset at all. I mean, I got a bakery in Florida that I don't even remember who the agent is because they just call me instead of their agent for anything they need. And they call me and say, hey, Matt, we like this NCR we've been using for a year and a half with you, but there's a few things we'd like to do, is a few things it doesn't do. Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Hey, we got Paradise POS now. So I moved them over. We used the iPads. We put them on Paradise software, and they loved it. Then sure enough, 2 years later, I get a text. Hey, Matt, can you talk to us, my son and I, about, point of sale? Now they wanted to upgrade. They were growing their business. They want to upgrade. They want bigger screens, big 15-inch screen, maybe customer display, more robust inventory, things like that. Perfect. Guys, let's jump on a quick Mint demo. Let me show you Mint. Let's go through it all. This has been a merchant of mine and ours for over 6 years now. They're on the 3rd POS. I have multiple merchants that are on their 2nd or 3rd point of sale system, all through us. And that's the benefit, once again, of having all these solutions, because you don't know. I might go pick up a new software next year that we beta test and we roll it out and we realize it's a phenomenal system with great support. And you didn't have that to offer 2 years ago. Okay? That's why we brought Corona on. Corona is phenomenal support. It's easy to use, and the monthly license is less than my boys at Retail Cloud. I still love Retail Cloud. But you know what? If there's a problem, we can go to Corona. And it's an easy transition. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If there is something wrong, or if they just want to upgrade or change or add new features, we will roll with the punches, go through that all with them. Okay? We'll move systems anytime, and it's not going to affect you. This is all legwork that my team does. You don't have to even change the MID. We'll order the terminals. We'll set the demos up for you. We'll do everything. Okay? So it's that safety net of going through the POS department. That's a great question, Matt. You're on today, buddy. You're on fire. Oh, now you're not on fire. You're muted.
Let's see what happened. I coughed while you were there. I muted myself. That's why I have a cough button, but when you don't turn the cough button back off, it is not as good. but it is a great feature for our partners to be able to walk in and say, with Toast, you're stuck with Toast. And that 48-month contract that you're going to sign with Toast is and we're not saying we have contracts because in order to give the equipment away and to compete with Toast, like Toast, you have to have contracts because we've got to make that money back to the significant investment that it is to put its hardware in. But we can move you from solution to solution and make sure it's custom fit. Toast has no option because Toast is Toast. And when Toast burns, it's burnt and it falls apart and, well, cookies crumble. Okay, now we got it. Next question, Mr. Matt Proctor. What is the features or features that Toast does really well that we equal or maybe even do better? That's something that our partners can focus on when talking to people and selling against Toast. And this really kind of blends into also replacing Toast.
Yep. Well, kiosk is one of them. We don't see a lot of people with Toast that use a kiosk, but it's very basic. It's very expensive. And it just doesn't look that good. If any of you ever run into that situation where you do need that kiosk, we have that with our Quick POS, partnership. And Quick is phenomenal, and they've got multiple options for kiosks, so they don't have to spend $4,000 or $5,000 to get that big thing. We can do a countertop kiosk. We have different varieties, all based on their price. And obviously, we want to help with that hardware if we can. So that's one thing, Nate. Kiosk. Toast has been having a lot of problems lately with their handhelds. And a lot of it's connectivity issues because they are very strict, as they should be, with wiring and making sure there's access points, everywhere. But I've talked to so many owners where they had 7 handhelds and now they use maybe 1 or 2 of them because they don't always work, or they just kind of went away from it, but they're still paying all that money and they're paying all that monthly software licensing fees for these handhelds that are, just doorstops. So that's one thing where if you want the handhelds, absolutely. We have that with Quick. Mint is doing the A920s and they're doing well. Hell, we even got it in some hot sauce merchants now. We're still kind of soft with the hot sauce side, but we're putting in existing hot sauce merchants. So it's not like we don't have that option. I mean, heck, if they want a bigger screen, I just had an owner the other day. He said, no matter what, I need a full floor plan, everything on a handheld walking around. And I know the A920s, some of them, they can't do that. It's too small. But guess what? We have Solido. They have an iPad system that's phenomenal with mobile ordering. They have an iPad mini with a built-in little chip reader and everything right there with a big floor plan on it. Once I told him that, he's like, done. He's like, let me see it. Let's go through it. So, once again, with Toast, you don't have that option. You're stuck with, okay, this is our handheld. Cross your fingers. I hope it works. What I've noticed in our city here, Nate, and I don't know if you notice it, the few places that are using Toast, they've gone away from ordering with it. Every once in a while, I'll see them order with it, but a lot of times they're still taking my order old school. They're bringing that for the payment, okay? And that's easy. We can do it with any system. If they're just going to walk over and hand me an A920, or whatever to take the payment at the end, perfect. That's easy. But I've noticed whether it's the speed of their environment, and there's one really big one on the west side, Nate, huge building. It's been there 40 years, and they do great volume. They switched to Toast, and they've got tons of outdoor seating. They don't take orders anymore with those handhelds. They only bring them over when it's time for payment.
I believe that's a place that it might be on a reservoir, I'm assuming. Is that what we're talking about?
It's a person's boat. Yep.
I know what you were talking about.
And I haven't been there in a while, but I over a period of 3-4 months, I was there a few different times. And, I'm always paying attention to how they're using Toast. And they've got outdoor bars and indoor bars. The place is just gigantic. But I have not seen anyone ring anyone up on the handheld in a while. So in my opinion, I think they overpaid. They probably paid a ton of money for all that hardware, and they're getting licensing fees for every one of those handhelds. Yep. So just keep that in mind. That's another thing, in my opinion. The kiosk, the handhelds, half the time they don't need the handhelds, guys. Just because you walk into a merchant and you see they have 3 stations, a couple kitchen printers, and 4 handhelds, it doesn't mean that's what they really need. Half the time I'm finding out the Toast people are overselling them. Okay? When you get talking to them, my team talks to them, we realize, they only use maybe one of those. Or maybe they say, you know what, we never really use those, so let's just not even mess with it. Okay, great. Do it the traditional style. So just because you see what they have does not mean that they love it or that they want to do the same thing. Okay, Toast oversells quite often, we're finding out. So just a couple of things. Those are a couple of main things I see.
When we first started selling up against Toast, I think we heard this more than we hear it now, but still relevant, is that, man, Toast is giving me all this equipment for free. They have had to come down because they are a publicly traded company that is not profitable. Let me guarantee you that Paperotech is profitable. We're not a publicly traded company, and I'm not going to tell you what our numbers are, but I can tell you that we are profitable. And so they've had to come back on this. But when it comes to, let's call it free placement or what they've done with their contracts and how we compare, are you seeing that? I haven't asked you this question before in a recent while. Are you seeing that still we're competing against a lot of free placements from Toast? How are we when it comes to competing really, let's say, on price and specifically the price of hardware?
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm not seeing the free hardware given away at all. Not in the last probably 6 to 9 months. And just so you guys know, I get my hands on Toast contracts all the time. I mean, I will get. I got one right there on the ledge. So I'm always comparing, with their prices and everything, and we are extremely competitive. What they do like Kohl's pricing. Any of you ever have a Kohl's in your area, the clothing store? You know what Kohl's pricing means. That means that no matter what, they're always increasing the prices to more expensive than the other stores around, but everything has a discount. So it makes it look like, oh my gosh, everything's on sale all the time. But really, that's just because they got the prices jacked up. That's how Toast does their pricing. So you'll see it right on their quotes. Oh my gosh, they're giving a 50% discount on these stations, and they're giving a 25% discount on this. But bottom line is, the bottom line of the quote, it still says $6,000 for that hardware. The SaaS fees still are as high as they ever have been. But no, they need money now. Like you said, Nate, they're not profitable. They haven't been. And so a lot of these Toast resellers now are trying to negotiate the numbers for the processing because they are having to charge up front. I have not seen anyone just throwing free Toast hardware in quite a while. And maybe they are somewhere out there, and the reseller office is taking care of it. But guess what, guys? We are giving them a discount, more than the Toast guys might have. Because it's all based on volume and profitability and ROI and the cash discount percentage. So if you got that good merchant that you're switching over and they do $180,000 and you're going to put 4% dual price in your edge, guess what? We're going to really be helping with that hardware. And that's a great conversation for you to be able to have as far as competing price wise.
Love it.
So, yeah.
What about competing against Toast as when you walk in? I think for probably 5 years, a lot of our partners walk in, see Toast, and walk back out. And I think more and more of them are learning now they don't have to do that. They can compete. They're worried about that 4-year contract that Toast is, but Toast has been out a long time. So a lot of these people are at the edge of their contracts, or they're willing to pay out their contract in order to switch because we may be able to even save them more money and get them something better. But what are you seeing when people are walking in? What are the selling points? What are some of the things you would highlight to partners that are trying to come in and replace Toast when they walk into a place and be able to be the next POS provider for those restaurants?
Well, it's just another good question. It's similar to if you're walking into any POS, you're walking to Focus, you're walking into, but most people now are more familiar with Toast. So it's not like you're walking in and you're kind of having to really look or ask them what software you're using. You could tell it's got Toast everywhere. Okay. And so I've had this conversation recently, with a few owners. I'm just picking their brain. I'm not doing it as a salesman. I'm not doing it trying to push them. I'm just, hey, I've run the Toast a lot, and I've seen some people love it, some people, have some issues with it. How do you feel about it? Are there any pain points? Just get them talking. They like to talk about their software, especially restaurant people. And so they'll just flat out tell you right then the good, bad, and ugly. Like, oh yeah, we finally just pulled the trigger and went with this, and it's okay, but support's not good, or what. They're just going to tell you. Every once in a while, rarely, every once in a while, you have the owner that says, "Oh my God, I love it. It's so amazing." No, the majority of the time, they're going to be honest with you. They're going to tell you the good and bad. And at that point, usually once I get them talking, I'm like, oh, how long are you in contract with them? Because that's what I do. I've got multiple point of sale options, so you're not just stuck with one. And that's when they kind of perk up and they're like, oh, okay, well, I think I still have such and such, left. I'm not sure about breaking or anything. But now I've at least got that conversation because I didn't go in hardcore salesman. They don't even know what I do until 5 minutes after, us talking. And then I just throw it out there casually. If you need assistance, you want to look at a different system, let me know. If it's okay with you, I'll check back, in a few weeks or a month. But then if I don't hear from them, I'm still going back anyway to eat there, to say, hey, see how they're doing. But now they know exactly what I do, and they know POS guys. They're like, all right, yep, Matt, that POS guy over there. We need to go talk to him. And you can accomplish a lot of that with the GM. Okay, owners aren't there half the time, so you can accomplish a lot of that with the GM of the. They got the ear of the owner. They're the one that are going to be using that system all the time and doing the comps and voids. They have to be on your side. So keep that in mind. If the owner's not there, pick the brain of the management. Okay? They're not going to make the final decision, but guess what? They might get you on a demo with an owner. So that's my 2 cents. Keep that in mind, guys.
Yep. Last question. Well, we'll see but my main last question is Toast when it comes to quick service, to full service, to, we'll call it, I'm not sure what the right term is, but the mix of retail and hospitality, where you have that mixed retail hospitality. I always call it the Cracker Barrel effect. What are things, they have been obviously very focused on the quick service. They've said they're not going and the full service restaurants, but then they're not going to go toward the retail. We see them occasionally in some retail/small retail solutions, but what do we look to do to compete with them? And how can we compete knowing that we both have retail and hospitality? Does that add an advantage to our partners being able to walk into systems and situations that are competing against Toast?
Yeah, huge advantage. It's like a joke. It's an effing joke. I won't say the bad word because this is uncensored. So fuck it. Either way, it's a huge advantage because bottom line is restaurant softwares that are only restaurant software like Toast, that's what it's built for, are not meant to be in retail. They can't do the management. They can't do the inventory side, the POs and things like that. It's just not what it's built for. And, it's common now. These softwares out there just think, well, I want to get in everywhere. I know I'm Lightspeed and I'm built for only whatever retail, and I do that extremely well. But I want to have the bar. Well, no, there's other systems built for that bar. So knowing the fact that we have multiple systems that are amazing for retail, and they're not trying to do something else. They focus 100% on invoicing and PO orders and the inventory matrix and being able to handle that so well. That's what we want to look at. And guess what, guys? We have the Cracker Barrel effect with a couple of our softwares, and they actually do it really well. All the time, we have people send in a lead. It's a convenience store, but then they also have tamales on the side, and they need a kitchen printer, and then, all right, great. We got a couple softwares that can do both, okay? And they were built to do both. Okay? That's the important thing. They're built to do both. They're not built one way, and then suddenly after a few years, they're like, yeah, let's throw in a barcode scanner and see if we can get Cracker Barrel. No, these systems are already built to handle each one. There's another software I'm looking at right now, and I've been talking to for over a year, that does that better than anyone I've ever seen. And they all link together perfectly. I mean, I can't tell you how many type of Cracker Barrel environments they're in, but it's amazing software. And if I can make a deal with them eventually in 2024 and have a partnership, then we'll have an even better software that was built for that. So more of that to come. Sorry for the teaser, Nate. But yes, you once again, you want the plethora of options. You don't want to stick them in the same. Sorry, I only got Toast. I'm only a Toast salesman. I only sell Harbor Touch. That's all I can give you. And I know half the people watching this probably have a Harbor Touch ID. Guess what? That's all you can sell. They try to put Harbor Touch everywhere, and it's not meant to go everywhere. That's where you need to come to us for the right solution.
Well, and when you're serving and having more than one solution, their best opportunity when the new technology starts rolling out, new options and new opportunities that will affect restaurants, and something that maybe Toast won't be the first to the market, but it may be that we have something that gets to market before that. At least we're going to have a better opportunity versus they only have Toast. And if they say, hey, I would really like this walking around robot that talks and sells for me. This doesn't exist to my knowledge in the world, but when it does, one of our systems may do it before Toast does it. And certainly you're going to have more options and more ammunition because of that. Matt, as we close out, what have I missed to talk? What are things that when people are saying, man, I think you probably still hear, how do I beat Toast all the time? Or the negative side of that, man, I just can't beat Toast. We're here to say confidence you can. What am I missing? Anything?
It's an open conversation I have all the time with agents. And it goes very similar to what we've just been talking about. I give them several pointers, several things to do and to talk about and to ask. Because for us, we're just trying to get them on demo. And bottom line is, there are a lot of merchants out there that they have toast, but they aren't happy, or they didn't really want it, but it seemed easy. The guy just walked in, it was easy, the price was okay, and I just got it. And it's not the right fit because they're a busy bar and they need pre-auth and bar tabs better. Well, guess what? Let's get them in our bar system that's built for bars that they're going to be much happier with. So yeah, this is so common. That's why we wanted to have this talk today. So you guys feel more comfortable. And please reach out to the POS department, poslead.com. Okay? Any merchant who just is remotely interested in point of sale, submit the lead, poslead.com. Get my team involved. Get that discussion started. We can at least talk to them. Okay? Maybe they're not ready to move until Q1 next year. That's okay. We can still meet with them. And a smart business owner is going to be looking at point of sale systems a month to 2 months before they do a switch. Okay, so right now is the time. I'm still thinking about one fun promotion we're going to roll out in December, but they can obviously sign in December, get that paperwork done, and plan on installing in January. So keep that in mind, guys, as people are trying to push you off till the beginning of the year. Try to get that signature and get everything done in December. So that way you've already got installs lined up for January. The best way to handle a point of sale. Beautiful. That's all I got, Nate.
I love it. Well, as we close out, we'll do one more POS Uncensored before the end of the year. We'll do a holiday episode. And as I was thinking about that, as Matt was talking, we're going to make sure it's something that we invite people to come watch live, even though this is live and occasionally people catch it. We're not always consistent on time. We have a busy schedule, but we're going to make a party out of that. And we're going to do some type of giveaway. Matt and I will come up and put our heads together and do that, but it'll be in the month of December. So be paying attention. And as we close this, I came up for the perfect title for this one.
Okay. Matt. Hold on, one question. Should I put my beard ornaments in for the holiday? I've got full beard ornaments.
I think at least for part of the time, maybe surprise us, man. I want to be surprised. I don't want to know.
Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it. It popped in my head as I'm looking at myself. I'm like, hey, if I'm looking at camera, let's spice it up.
Absolutely. And I need to grow my beard out so ornaments would fit.
Yeah. You might need to not shave for the next few weeks.
Yeah. Not going to happen. I can promise that. All right. So here's when it comes to toast, when it comes to point of sale, we don't just compete, we beat. See you next time on POS Uncensored. Thank you guys, everybody. Have a great one.
Bye, guys.